Hello and welcome to Tarot Electric. I am Mary Schock. So thanks everybody for tuning in today. I'm going to start off with a tarot pull for everyone out there listening across time and space. Whenever this reaches you, wherever and whenever you are, this message is for you. The card of the day is the last card of our Major Arcana series. So since I've begun, we've pulled one card from the Major Arcana, and this really rounds it out. So we've been through all of them together. We've been through it all. And the card that is left, the last card, is the Tower. This is a significant card to receive at the end of a cycle, so it's just feeling super interesting to me, and I'm excited to talk to you all about it today. The Tower can definitely be one of those cards that you receive in a reading and you go, it's one of those pull back kind of a cards, and maybe a scary one. I have really learned to love it, so I'm hoping that I can kind of turn some minds about it, like change your mind, turn some viewpoints around to a point where you can also find the value in this card, where it would be something that you really want to see when it pops up for you. Because what the Tower is truly is extreme change. It's an upheaval, and it makes sense that this card would be so scary for us, because I really find that most of us, myself included, are, when we have fear, once you boil it down to what you're actually afraid of, it can truly become change in most places. When we get scared and when we find ourselves hesitating in life, a lot of that comes from a reaction of, I was expecting one thing to happen, that thing did not happen. Instead, something that I didn't expect to happen happened. That's a change in our expectations. So either we want something, our situation, to stay the same, it changes, we get scared, angry, all kinds of feelings about it, or we're projecting something, expecting something to happen, and that thing does not happen. That's a change in our expectation, because we were already projecting ourselves into the future. That's why the only place you can be is present. All of this is truly difficult, and I don't mean to say any of this to make it sound like I've mastered it at all, right? But I do find that when we can let go of fear of change and embrace change as something that is for our greatest good, which is what I read tarot on every single time. I'm pulling for your greatest good, my greatest good, and the greatest good of the whole universe. So this change, when you're pulling from a place of greatest good, you know the change is in alignment with your highest self. So when the Tower comes up, we're looking at upheaval, we're looking at extreme change. What I find with the Tower is that where this change comes from, the Major Arcana, they can all be kind of a bigger period of time. To me, often it feels, but the Tower is a quicker action. It's a quicker card, but the build-up is slow, and that's when it is this big theme, because the Tower, before it explodes, as we see on the card, what it is it's an energy that's building within ourselves, and that energy builds and builds and builds, and that's can take time, right? And what it is it's something within us that we know to be true, that we're keeping inside, that we're still forming, that we're still becoming aware of. But it's our truth, and it's inside of us, and once we're awakened to it, this truth reaches a boiling point where we cannot let our truth be kept inside of us any longer, and we have to let it out. That's the explosion. It's expression of our truth and our highest self. In that letting out, letting go, sharing our truth, what we do is we destroy the Tower, which is our old way of life, our old truths, our old ideas, and old institutions, ways of being, everything that we've built our life up around just has to completely be destroyed in order for us to become fully in alignment with our truth that we're sharing. So the tower comes up, and that's why it is a surprise. Sometimes it surprises other people. Sometimes it can surprise ourselves if we're not fully aware of what's happening in our life, but it can also be a destructive thing. So the tower can for sure bring about periods of time that are super difficult and that are full of all these fiery emotions and possibly even confusion. But it's all part of this big transformation. So this card is coming up for all of us right now. And I think we should just hold on, live in the moment, and get ready for some extreme change. Because I feel like we're very much on a, about to hit this breakthrough for the whole universe. So you're going to see this ripple out in terms of it's going to be affecting your personal life. You're going to see it on a community scale, on a national scale, on a universal scale. So I would just be looking for extreme changes. And the truth is, with the tower, the more that you can let go of the old to make room for the new, and the more that you can say, okay, this is hard, but I'll go through it anyway, the better off you'll be. Okay. Sometimes I think of what the emperor starts to build in the four is this four-walled foundation, and then you spend all that time in between the emperor and the tower and the card number 16 building that up. And so the emperor is just working on building the tower, creating a life, creating a self, creating a self-image, and then once you get to the tower, it just strikes and it has to be torn away. Something about the tower is released in reaction to our interaction with the devil, which is the card before, card number 15. So there's some way in which dealing with our shadow self, breaking through old cycles, allows us to have this pow breakthrough moment eruption of the tower that creates just whole new things, just destroys everything that we created in order for us to be new again. And that's card number 17, the star that follows. So it's like we can only reach the point where we can be in complete flow with universal energy that the star gives us. We have to take away everything that we had built to reach that point of purity and of flowing with the universe. So don't be scared of the tower. Be aware of what's happening. If the tower comes up and then we can be aware of fiery emotions, we can get in less fights. We can forgive easily if we do have miscommunications or conflicts. We can ask forgiveness when we did something that needs forgiving. So if we know the tower's coming up, we can just laugh and play with the fiery energy that comes up, and know that even though the tower is an extreme period of time, it's also, because it is so quick, any fiery emotions, anger, conflict, fights, miscommunications that come up during that time, and they can come up because other people don't like to see us change, right? That brings up all the fear for them, right? But it's a quick action, it's a quick period of time, so you just know that all those things are going to be resolved quickly later. So tell me how that resonates with you. Let me know if that makes sense for your life or if you have anything tower like. And I hope that all of your tower expressions come with brilliant new ideas and revelations of how to share and manifest your truth externally in the world. So I hope you all experience the tower in just the best way possible. Hey guys, what's up? It was super fun to do the whole majors, so I'm wondering what to do next. I don't know. I've been reading cards a lot with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and I've been having so much fun with that deck. It is amazing. It is so fun and beautiful. So I'll probably pull with that for a while. We'll get some minors in the mix. I don't know, we'll see what happens, but I'm definitely not going to stop reading cards because it is my idea with the podcast that even if you just had, like 15 minutes, 5 to 15 minutes in your week to just listen to that card guidance, you could stop there. I mean, I hope that you listen to the whole podcast, but if for whatever reason all you've got is 5 minutes, you can just tune in, get the card, and then go with your week, and maybe catch up with the rest later or whatever. So we're not going to stop pulling the cards. I like pulling the cards. So I really have to apologize because I know that we had a dead week last week. I didn't put out a podcast. My apologies, truly. I just checked and it's been 13 days since I put one out. I'm so sorry. I mean, I've been doing pretty good, right? Like, we're at 25 episodes. This will be number 26. And I know that I only took 1 week off, I believe, previously. So I think I've had a pretty good track record up until now. And I do want to be super consistent. I do have a lot of great interviews in the works and planned and coming up. So we're not going anywhere, and I don't plan to take so much time off from the podcast in the future because I love doing it. So I'm sorry if you missed me, I'm going to work on that. Also, the other thing I'm really trying to work on for the podcast is being consistent. I mean, I'm going to try this. Like, I obviously haven't tried this yet, but I'm going to try and work on being consistent with what day I put it out, because in the beginning I definitely was trying to do, I think Wednesdays was like, I'm gonna put it out every Wednesday, but it just got so wonky, and I can be bad at sticking to a schedule, especially when it's not something that anyone else is like monitoring for me, right? Or like checking up on. It's all self-motivation, basically. So it's like I'm good at getting things done when I'm working in a team or when I have, someone higher than me who's expecting something from me. I can really get things done then, but when it's all me, I can definitely get distracted or procrastinate or any number of things. So I'm sorry about that. I'm just trying to figure out like what the best day is. But I'm really going to try to do that. I wonder what the best day is. Is it Wednesday? Y'all tell me. I feel like during the week is good. I'm going to work on it. But I'm recording this. Okay, obviously you get the drill. This is a solo episode, okay? This is me, Mary, talking to you guys, and I'm just going to tell you everything that I've been up to. I have a bunch of notes about things that I've been thinking about that I wanted to share, so this is just going to be me telling you what's up, giving you an update on my life, right? So first, I just want to thank everyone who listens to this podcast. I really appreciate anyone who listens, and I just really makes me happy that folks are listening, that you're getting something out of it. I love to hear from you. So if you have ideas, thoughts, feedback, feel free to reach out to me any number of ways. But basically, I just want to say thanks to everyone for listening because it makes me so happy. It makes me happy to put it out, and the fact that people listen is a total bonus. For a while, I've been wanting to tell you all about some of my favorite podcasts, so I think I'll do that right now. I have been listening to podcasts since I was in high school, and it was like podcasts just came out, I got an iPod, and it was this little brick, and I was just so happy to get it, unbelievably excited to have this iPod. And it must have been, was I a sophomore in high school or a junior? We're looking at 2005-ish, okay? Podcasts had just come out and they were free content, right? And you could go on the iTunes store and get all the podcasts for free. Podcast is just the silliest thing ever. Like, it's named after iPods. It's weird, you know? But I was like, I'm into this. Free content, please. And the first podcast that I got obsessed with was Dawn and Drew, the Dawn and Drew show. And it was just these two, like, married couple, and they lived in the Midwest on this big farmhouse, and they had all these animals, and they were like kind of like used like hippies, um but were now kind of domesticated, and they just had all these funny stories and this wild life, but it was also really just them talking, you know? And you just get so interested in hearing about other people's lives, and then you become invested in their story, right? So I was obsessed with them. I mean, they're still making podcasts, but I stopped listening, but I hold so much love in my heart for Dawn and Drew because I just thought they were so adorable and I loved them so much. So I've been obsessed with podcasts for a long time. Now I mostly listen to two extremes. Like, I'll listen to a lot of mystical podcasts, spiritual health podcasts, and then I'll listen to comedy podcasts. Okay. So I'm on two spectrums, but I'm mostly going to tell you guys about the spiritual podcast. I mean, maybe you want to hear everything. I don't know. Um, so Psychic Teachers is a really good one. Psychic Teachers is a great kind of almost beginner entry level, like, spirituality, new age podcast. They did a great series on tarot where they did one episode, I guess every month, that was devoted to a card. So Psychic Teachers is two host hosts, Deb and Samantha, and um, they will focus on a topic and just talk about it basically. And um, some of the older podcasts I really really like, and you can go through and listen to them all, like the Soul Families podcast really resonated with me. I think they did a whole episode about our soul families, and I would check out the Tarot ones and see if you can find the Soul Families podcast because that one really, really hit me. But I love them all. I super adore them, and they're really good, especially for like entry stuff. Now, something wild is Me and Paranormal You. That's one I love. Me and Paranormal You is hosted by Ryan Singer, who's a comedian in LA. So, but it's all spirituality, metaphysical, paranormal, right? Um, and Ryan will interview subjects, a lot of tarot readers, a lot of psychics, but then tons of other people too, like folks that are um, knowledgeable about extraterrestrials, Bigfoot, anything else in the paranormal world. Like, Ryan has somebody. And the reason I love it is because there's such a great sense of humor to it all. And a lot of times we can take um, these like metaphysical subjects very, very seriously. So I just think it's so refreshing to listen to something that's funny and that can laugh at itself, you know? And I think that you guys will really like it. It's really interesting. And the great thing that Ryan does also is the he'll do, I guess he does it twice a week. So he'll do the interviews, but then he also does what he calls a third ear bonus, where Ryan basically researches all of one subject. So sometimes, okay, he just did one on theosophy, which is great. I would love to read that actually. Or listen to that, duh. So he'll research it and then just do a solo episode of a podcast where he's just telling you everything that he learned about that. And like Francis Bacon was a third year bonus, and Carnelia and Crystal was a third year bonus. So you should listen. Me and Paranormal You, that one you're gonna love. Okay, Rune Soup is the other one that's really, really good. That's Rune Soup, like runes. And that's hosted by this oh gosh, what's the guy's name? It's so silly, I don't remember. Well, you'll figure it out. Go listen to it. It's it's a really kind of academic point of view. It's all interviews with people in the metaphysical world, and they all have, something out, like a book or something like that. I'm looking at what's coming up. Psychedelics and culture, folk magical realities. That looks great. Um, Geomancy, conspiracy. It's kind of classic. But this host of Rune Soup is always talking to someone who is Gordon. Gordon White, right? That's his name. He's always talking to someone who is a researcher or an expert in their field in some way. So it's definitely got this academic, like higher level vibe to it, but I really love it. I think you guys will like it too. Yeah, Gordon. I had it right. I listened to this podcast. Like, I know his name. Okay, I'm looking through the podcasts I subscribe to see what else. Sometimes I listen to Here We Are. I think you all might like that. I'm not going to talk that much about it. Just check it out. It's um, always okay. I guess I'll talk a little bit. It's Shane Moss, who's another comedian who's interested in science and psychology and lots of other things. So it's him talking to an expert in a field. And like the first one up right now is psychedelics and soap. So, oh my God, he's talking with Dr. Bronner. That's cool, right? So this is pretty fun. I usually like it. Then this is an old one, but I think you will like it. The Kate Valentine UFO show. This is actually, they're not producing new episodes, but you can listen to all the old ones. And it was really great, amazing interviews with folks in the like extraterrestrial world. Highly recommend that. What else do I listen to? Okay, I listen to Dream Freedom Beauty. This one I love. I highly recommend. Um, the host, her name is Natalie, and she's always interviewing somebody, and it really has this amazing goddess vibe to it. I think you would really like it, especially if you enjoy the way that I talk a little bit, because it's definitely this more spiritual, like feeling intuitive side, where I feel like Rune Soup is this heady academic side, but Dream Freedom Beauty really feels it out. But she's always talking with somebody, lots of card readers, herbalists. Oh, the first one out here is about a tarot person, hypnosis practitioner, and just talking about like those things that you get together and you talk to your friends about when you're having these deep discussions about life and your dreams and your fears. Natalie just gets in there and talks to these people with them. One of my favorite episodes was when she talked to this woman who is a bee priestess and had talked all about the magic of the honeybees and the historical tradition of the womb as represented by the beehive, and how the priestesses of the oracle at Delphi were bee priestesses. And just, that was such a good episode. If you go back and listen to that one, it's amazing. Okay, other one I like is Circle of Salt. Oh, it's so good, and it's hosted by S. Rune Emerson and Felix. I'm sorry, I can't remember their last name. So they're two like super cool witches, queer people, and I really want them to put out a new episode. It's kind of a newer podcast and they haven't put one out in a while, so I really want them to put out another one. But it's so much tarot, also like geeky tarot, which I'm not even into, but I just get I'm just interested in these people. So I'm saying, okay, I'll listen to you talk about like manga and tarot, even though I don't know anything about it. You know, you just get sucked in. So their podcast is great. You should listen to it. Circle of Salt. Um, okay, and then recently I've been listening to Lore. Lore is great, super spooky, good for Halloween. All these stories, like one story per episode, that'll be really about a supernatural experience. They're pretty spooky. Um, the one I really loved was called Mary Mary, and it was about this spiritualist family, and I won't tell you too much about it, but it definitely involves speaking with some spirits. And it really, lore is great because it takes these supernatural stories and they all have kind of a little bit of a historical distance, but they're not like ancient. So it takes these stories and tells them to you in this way that really has you questioning the humanity in the supernatural. It's amazing. And then so recently, like just today, I started listening to Myths and Legends. Someone recommended that to me. I think it was Leah. And I was like, oh, that's on my list. And then I talked to my brother today, and he said, I'm listening to this podcast, Myths and Legends. And I said, hold the phone. So I started listening. It's great. You should definitely listen to it. And that's telling mythological legends, right? Ancient stories, but in a way that makes them accessible. You can listen. I was thinking, listen to one of the episodes of Myths and Legends and then think about what tarot archetypes fit in for that god or that goddess. You know what I mean? Like, that would be a really good exercise to listen to those stories and then be thinking about, is that person more of temperance, or are they a little bit more strength, or what tarot card could that represent, you know? So that's basically the lowdown. I do, like I said, listen to funny ones. Is this interesting? Do you guys want to hear more of the podcasts I listen to? Oh, one that's really good for my Baltimore people is Baltimore, The Rise of Charm City. That's super, super good. Stories about Baltimore's history, um, and most of them are framed from this historical point of view and also looking at the contributions of Black people in Baltimore and the institutions that Black Baltimore really created. So, like, there's such a good episode on the Shake and Bake Bowling Alley. That's a good podcast. The funny ones I listen to Two Dope Queens, obviously. Who doesn't? I listen to Put Your Hands Together. That's like live stand up. That's so good. Indie comics, or at least indie to me, because they're not like on Netflix yet, usually. Um, Queer comics, they're amazing. Oh, I can't believe I forgot. That's So Retrograde is another podcast. That's So Retrograde is pretty fun. It's hosted by two hosts, Stephanie and Elizabeth, and super wellness scene, right? Interviews tarot readers, psychics. The greatest episode I listened to recently, well, I love all the astrology podcasts that they do too, so they had one of those out recently, so you could definitely listen to like the astral forecast because they're really fun. But a great podcast is from them is Shaman Bomb, guest Shaman Durek, and God, it was so good. It's from October 17th, 2017. And he tells his story about how he really came into his work as a shaman, and it's amazing. And now he's like Gwyneth Paltrow's go-to shaman. He's a goop shaman, people, okay? So that's really fun. Oh my gosh, I said October 17th. I said it like that was a long time ago. This is a new one with him. God, I love him so much. I can't wait to listen again. He did an episode a while ago. They'll probably tell you about it, but you should listen to the first one first, I bet. Oh, I'm excited. That was the best one ever. Okay, so I'm excited to listen to that. Oh my gosh. I started to play it. I'm going to leave that in because I think it's funny. Um, I listened to Weird Adults with Little Esther. I love her. That's another comic, and she does solo episodes, which definitely inspires me to do solo episodes because she'll just talk, and I like to listen to what she says. So I hope that I could be. Um, Maybe someone will also like to listen to what I say. I listen to Call Chelsea Peretti, but she never puts out podcasts anymore. But you could listen to the old ones; they're so good. And the last thing she put out is literally the funniest thing I've ever listened to. So if you just listen to We Meet Again, the last thing she put out is actually this recording of a staged reading she did of something she wrote. It's so good. I listen to So Many White Guys. That hasn't been put out in a while, but that's really good. Um, and Yeah, sometimes I listen to Comedy Bang Bang. A couple ones I have on here that I like Ariel's Druidic Craft of the Wise lectures. I've never really listened to them that much, but I have it because it's been recommended. And Tarot Visions I sometimes listen to. They have good interviews, and it's a lot of really getting into kind of the tarot world. Like if you want to kind of be introduced to some of the major players of the tarot scene, that's a good place to go. And the Hermit's Lamp podcast has some great episodes. So gosh, that should be a lot, that should really get you started with more podcasts to listen to. And hey, if you listen to a podcast that you think I should listen to, let me know, because I listen to them so much while I'm doing anything. So send me your recommendations. I would love to hear. Okay, now I'm going to tell you all about some events that I have coming up. And if you're in Baltimore, I would love to see you, connect with you, join in community with you at one of these events coming up. Okay, so as I'm recording this right now, it's Friday. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting in the bathroom recording. I just made kimchi and I brewed a batch of tea and I'm letting it cool for my kombucha, right? So I did all my fermenting chores today and then I sat down to do this podcast. I've been staying up really late recently, so this isn't a big deal for me to be up right now. I feel very awake. Okay. So it's 1 in the morning. At 9 tonight, Friday, October 20th, is Tarot and Chill at the Crown. So please come out and join me. I'm going to put this out today, Friday. So if you're listening to this and it just came out, join me tonight. Come out to the Crown. Starts at 9. It's me, Keenan Bryce, Janae Matthews, Baltimore's most mystical tarot readers. It's going to be super fun. It's fully accessible. So come out, have a drink, get some tarot read. It's going to truly be a blast. So if you just want to come say hi to me, come say hi. If you want to get your tarot read, come get your tarot read. It's going to be real fun. Then, well, on Saturday, I'm going to go to the Mushroom City Arts Festival. If anyone wants to hang, should be great. Saturday the 28th, I'm going to go to Baltimore Reclaiming's Samhain Ritual. I would love for anyone out there who wants to join, please join. It's at Friends Meeting House, and I believe it starts at 6. Check baltimorereclaiming.org or the Facebook page to double check that time. But it's going to be so beautiful. We're going to get in touch with our ancestors. So Samhain is going to be dope. Then on the 31st, which is actual Halloween, I will be reading tarot at the Renaissance Hotel in the Inner Harbor in Baltimore. Or it's the Renaissance Harbor Place Hotel. Renaissance Baltimore Harbor Place Hotel. 202 East Pratt Street from 5 to 7. So come out, get a tarot reading, pretend to be really fancy, wear a costume. You know, if you're going to Fells Point for Halloween, you can just stop by and get a tarot reading first. Bring a swanky date, come say hi. It's going to be great. So we've got evenings at the Renaissance, Halloween, 5 to 7. Come and join me. Okay, here's what's really fun. On Saturday, November 4th, I'm hosting a class with Pada Suyimoto, who will be offering a Reiki 1 attunement. Okay. This is my Reiki teacher, good friend, witch tarot reader, Pada, coming to Baltimore. Really wanted to open it up to folks who wanted to get a Reiki 1 attunement. And I said, I know folks who want it. We got together. We're making this happen, okay? It's at Holy Underground from 2 to 6 on Saturday, November 4th. You're going to love Pada. She has the sweetest energy. We can talk about tarot and Reiki a little bit. Reiki is such a gentle healing modality, but it is so powerful. And Reiki 1 is really all about you, you know? So this is just you opening yourself up to the Reiki energy and getting it for yourself and learning how to use it to heal yourself, you know? And the other thing I love about Pada is that she's right on track with Be More Tarot Club's sliding scale, no one will be turned away for lack of funds policy. So this is a really affordable class with a sliding scale donation of $20 to $100. So please offer what you can. Like I said, no one will be turned away for lack of funds. Some people charge a lot of money for Reiki attunement, even Reiki 1. And we wanted to offer something to everyone in Baltimore so that everyone could receive a Reiki attunement. So please come out and join. It's gonna be a blast. Then the next day, Sunday, November 5th, we have Be More Tarot Club. It's the 1 year anniversary. I am completely over the moon excited. Pada's gonna be there. I'm gonna see if I can get her to lead us on a guided journeying meditation. We're gonna talk about the Hermit. Perfect for journeying, a great card to talk about. I'm going to bring some kombucha that I made. It's going to be a complete party, and I'm just so excited. I'm so happy the Tarot Club has been in my life for a whole year, and without Tarot Club, I never would have started this podcast, so it's a huge, I love Tarot Club. It's going to be so fun. That's at Holy Underground, November 5th, Sunday from 7 to 8:30 p.m., okay? Please come out. Bring a friend. Donations are welcome and encouraged. And I mean, just bring your sweet self though, first and foremost, and bring your cards, okay? So then November 12th, Tarot and Cocktails at Golden West. That's a dope event. It gets packed. Come early, you know, starts at 9. Maybe you want to get there at 8:30 and sign up, you know. The cocktails are so good and they're so mystical. So you can get like a Queen of Wands cocktail and it's going to be great. So Ray and Alexander and I will be there, get a reading. Then, exciting astral announcement, folks. Introducing Be More Astrology Club. That's right, Be More Astrology Club. So Cheryl Fair and I had such a fun time. You might have listened to the episode of the podcast with Cheryl Fair. We hosted the last Tarot Club, was like an astrology and tarot lesson from Cheryl Fair. I'm going to put that out on the podcast soon. We just got so inspired. Cheryl was like, oh, do you want to do Sister Club to Tarot Club but we'll do all astrology. Of course, I said yes. I'm so excited. So, this will be the very first one on Sunday, November 19th. So, Tarot Club is the first Sunday of the month. Tarot and Cocktails at Golden West is the second Sunday of the month. Now, Be More Astrology Club is the third Sunday of the month. We've got your Sundays packed with mystical events, okay? Tarot Club, Astrology Club. It's going to be at Meta in Hamden, okay? The address is 720 West 36th Street, and the hours are 7 to 8:30 p.m. We're going to really start, every lesson's going to be led in the beginning by Cheryl. So opening up each meeting with an astrology lesson from Cheryl, who's an experienced astrologer. Then we're going to open it up to the circle for sharing thoughts, ideas. So this is just like Tarot Club, all levels of experience are welcome and encouraged. So if you know nothing about astrology, come, you will learn. If you're an expert, come, you will share. You can help teach others, and you can just bounce ideas off of the other amazing astrologers that are going to be there. I definitely consider myself in the middle somewhere, so I'm just excited to learn with all of you. It's going to be so fun. And we're going to definitely start it with looking at how to read our natal charts, okay? That's your birth chart. So if you want to come, please contact me ahead of time and we'll get your chart printed up, okay? So it'll be there and you can start learning from it right away. Let me know. It's going to be so fun. Donations are welcome, $5 to $15 for Astrology Club or Tarot Club. Offer what you can. Astrology Club's going to be so great. We're so excited. Okay, I feel like those are all the events that I've got coming up. That's enough, isn't it? Isn't that enough? Yeah, we'll leave it at that for events. Come out and hang. Let me know if you have an event in mind that you want to do. I have so much to talk to you guys about. I don't even know if I can fit it all in. I've been taking a mediumship class with Janet Seifert, who's a medium here in Baltimore, and it's been fun. Spiritual attunement. It's every Saturday. So she teaches it twice a year. If you're interested, let me know. She's super great, and I'm hoping to invite her and have her on the podcast at some point, and I'll definitely keep everyone updated because it's 6 classes and I've only been to 2 of them. So we'll see how my life opens up as I move forward with them. Her website is homecircles.com if you want to check it out. She's classic, old school British medium, spiritualist, and the attunements just feel so peaceful and loving. And it's really about, it's just, it's about healing for yourself, going within trance mediumship. In mediumship, there are often 2 paths, especially when you study in like a spiritualist tradition. So there's the evidential medium, and that's what we kind of think of from maybe TV, or like I went to see a great medium in the summer with my mom. When I went to visit my mom, she was like, "Oh, I just have this little event planned. Like, do you want to go see New Hampshire's medium?" I said, "Yes." Are you even kidding me? Then she stands on stage, has the audience there, and then she gets people that come in, spirits that come in, and she's saying, "Okay, I have someone's dad. I think it's someone on this right side of the audience. Dad died from cancer. He drove a red truck." So she's giving evidence and she's fully conscious, right? That's evidential medium. Then deep trance medium is when the medium is sometimes like not even conscious of what information they're getting, and it's trance. So it's from an inner perspective, and that's really what this circle is all about. And I'm just excited to see where it goes. I really think it's going to open up some doors for me because I love reading tarot, And I get so much information from reading tarot. But I know that I have every ability to read for people and do what I'm doing with tarot without the cards. It's just that the cards have always been my medium, right? I've always used cards to get the information. But I know that I could do it without the cards, and it's pretty exciting for me to kind of try and expand what I'm doing. So I'm going to keep everybody informed about that, but I wanted to tell you because it's been pretty fun. Um, what else was I going to talk about? This is kind of a silly thing, but I'll talk about it anyway. I've been using silicone cups at home. So maybe you guys have heard about cupping. Maybe you've tried it, but they got really popular during the Olympics recently, and like Michael Phelps and everybody had these, it looks like octopus, like suction cup circles on your body. And that's when cupping got super en vogue. But it's Chinese medicine, and I got this pack of silicone cups, and it has been so rewarding. You can use them at home. You can look up the instructions on how to use them. It's not like there's no extra stuff you need with the silicone cups. You just have the cups and they form this light. It's not light, but this suction on your body, and it can help relieve muscle tension. And the reason I wanted to talk to you all about it is because they've helped me so much with my moon cycle pain. Okay, so I'm talking about menstrual cramps. I get debilitating cramps every month during my moon cycle, and it hurts my abdomen, right? But also all down my right leg. And this has always been a problem with me, to the point where I miss school and work. I plan things around it. Okay. I have really strong reactions to my moon cycle. Back pain, I get the whole thing. Now, I get these cups. They're not like magic fix it, it's gone, but so, so helpful. And you can put them right where like your uterus is, on your lower abdomen, like right above your pubic mound. And you can just put two cups there like before you have your moon cycle. Okay, so like a day or two before you know it's coming, put the cups on your body for a little bit of time each day, and it'll preemptively help. And then I've been using them during my moon cycle too. It's been helping so much, and I'm just so thankful. It's really great on your back during your moon cycle. So that's my hot tip for the podcast is, if you, like I, suffer from menstrual cramps, try some silicone cupping to cope, because it's been really dope for me. Dope to cope. Um, I've seen so much witchy activity in pop culture recently and the media, and I wanted to talk about it. Do you watch Broad City? I watched it's out right now, episodes of Broad City, and I really loved the first season of Broad City, and then sometimes I have mixed feelings about it, but I still like it, I guess, and I appreciate watching it. And then in like the premiere episode, right? No, it must be the second one. It is. In the opening of the second episode, and Ilana goes, witchy shit is so in right now. Oh, she's like, should I keep, oh, is it bangs or something? It's something about her hair. Should I do this or this? Do this. It's witchy. Witchy shit is so in right now. And then Abby's like, oh, is it really? And I was like, yeah, it is. And they're totally right. Witchy shit is really in right now. And then on the last episode that I just watched this week, it said coming up next week. And I think the whole storyline is witchy. So if you want to see some witches in pop culture, check that out. I mean, I guess witches have always been something that's, fascinating to folks and in pop culture, but it is interesting to see how much witchy shit is out there right now. It's like for everything, it's overwhelming. Instagram, there's so many great accounts, and it's just really out there. It's a whole new world. I think it's fun. I'm in support. We need more witches and more people doing witchy things. I think it's cool. But I thought that was interesting. And then the other show recently I watched that I wanted to talk to you about is Adam Ruins Everything. Do you watch this show? I watch it on, you know, my mom's like cable password account online, so I forget what network it's on. Is it on True TV? I forget. Adam Ruins Everything, okay? I think it's a good show. I like to watch it. But the last episode I watched was called Adam Ruins Wellness. I loved it. And I think that if you can, you should watch it because I thought it was really well done and I thought it was really interesting. And it comes from, Adam Ruins Everything is all about Adam taking a widely held belief and then debunking that belief using science and clinical studies and experts and, information to kind of take down misconceptions, right? And Adam Ruins Wellness was great. Not every episode is about being, it's not all. Is it a show of skeptics or like is it all about like being a skeptic? I don't know because a lot of times we wouldn't really apply that kind of language to like Adam ruins the economy or some Adam ruins voting or that kind of stuff. But it, especially the wellness, it has this like skeptic vibe. But I think that we actually benefit by being a skeptic yourself, by being discerning, by not just believing anything that someone tells you or that you read somewhere, and by really wanting to get to the bottom of any information. So a lot of times when we're in a spiritual world and we're like, well, they're being a skeptic, it can be this very negative thing, but I think that can be very skeptical, and I don't think it's a bad thing to be a skeptic at all. And Adam Ruins Wellness was so good, and drag me, you know what I mean? Like the whole thing is like this girl and she's wearing crystals and she's doing the yoga and she talks about cupping. Like drag me, I'm so here for it. I can look back. That's why a sense of humor is just key. I can look back and look at myself and be like, wow, my life is really crazy. Wow, I really get to surround myself all the time with spirituality, big talk conversations. Like I do tarot for a job, and I can see how like ridiculous and funny my life is, and that doesn't make me feel like it's ridiculous in a bad way. It just makes me feel like, wow, my life can be really crazy and it's great. You know what I mean? So we need the skeptics, and it's important to be discerning. So you should just watch the whole episode of Adam Ruins Everything, but I wanted to talk about a couple things that I thought was so great. The best thing about it is when they get into the placebo effect. It's so beautiful. All of these we already know that the placebo effect is super strong, but it's great to hear it backed up by these sources, by an expert. The expert for the placebo study was great. She was so like right on, and basically it was just all this different evidence of how strong the placebo effect really is. And how when we think that we're doing something that will help alleviate a symptom of an illness that we have or a problem that we have, when we do something that we think is going to help that problem, whether or not it has an actual like health benefit, it will help because that's the power of our mind. And that's the placebo effect. And they even said that it doesn't even matter if we know it's a placebo effect. Even if we know that what we're doing is just for our mind and not an actual health benefit or medicine, it will still help us. So it doesn't even have to be that we're like in the dark and thinking that what we're taking is, not a sugar pill. Like, even if we know, we're still going to get the benefits. And I'm just saying that is straight up magic. That's gotta be magic, right? And that's the power of our brain. And we don't know so much about the human brain. And that's real magic right there. The power of our mind to manifest in reality, that's it. That's magic. That's straight up it. That's just it. You know what I mean? So we say the placebo effect and we think we're debunking something that it's like, oh, it's just the placebo effect. But I'm like, wow, that's the placebo effect. The placebo effect is straight up magic. So I just encourage you all to watch that episode of Adam Ruins Everything because I thought it was amazing. And that's the thing with tarot. You know what I mean? Like, some people will be like, oh, well, it's just the placebo effect. Like, I'm reading these cards and they say that I'm going to have a good week. So then I'll go out and I'll have a good week because it's the placebo effect. But I'm like, hello, that's the magic of it. You know what I mean? That is, I just couldn't get more excited about it. That's the magic, is that when we hold in our mind and hearts that we are going to have a certain experience and then we manifest that and we have it and that becomes our reality, that is magical. And I'll tell you why. That's why it's important to not read the tarot in a super negative way. Okay? Even the dark cards of tarot, I shouldn't say dark, even the challenging cards of tarot, the cards that look scary, like the tower, they have lessons that we need to know and that we need to learn. And that's why I think it's important to not read the tarot with doom and gloom. Okay, because the power of our minds is so powerful. But instead, if we can see these challenging cards, and instead of being like, oh my God, the tower, something terrible is going to happen in my life, I'm so nervous about it, then you're going to move forward and you're going to have that thing happen, right? But if instead we can say, wow, the tower, something's going to change, it's going to be radical, it might not feel great, but it's going to be important for my evolution, and it's actually going to let me come out of myself and live my true self out in the world, then you're going to go and live that reality. And you're going to be able to handle any challenges because you already foresaw them, prepared yourself for them, and saw the upside to challenges. So harness the placebo effect in your readings. Don't shy away from it. I think the placebo effect is magic. I think our brain is magic. And that's why thoughts are the most powerful. And so many magical traditions come right from that. It's the thoughts that manifest. And that's a thing in spiritualism too. And for the spiritists. So for all of them. Gosh, I thought it was so great. And they also had a doctor who was an expert in gastro, I forget, right? He was like a gut guy. He debunked colon cleanses is what he said. He's like, they're terrible. Don't do a colon cleanse. And then he talked about um, how important our gut health is and our gut biome, and how important it is to eat a variety of foods with prebiotics and probiotics. That's the kombucha, right? And the kimchi. They got it all. He was talking this, he was from Hopkins. So he was talking about how important that is for our overall health, and that so many health cures can start with getting our gut healthy. And that rings so true to me and has been such a big learning curve for me personally, is to realize how much of my problems with mental illness, with depression, with sleep problems, moodiness, even like PMS, right? So much of these problems that I have can be um, can be aided by me finding really good health for my gut and for my digestion. It's where it all starts. The gut, your second brain, right? I love it. So watch that episode. I think it's so great. He even said like science now is validating the ancient practices of like Chinese medicine and other ancient practices of health that maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, a skeptic could have easily been like, well, there's no proof. It's all BS. Don't rely on it. But now science is catching up to the point where science can now validate these ancient practices for the folks that need that. I personally respect and don't need science to validate everything, especially ancient health practices that have been around way longer than traditional like Western medicine. But it's pretty cool. So right, I don't need the validation personally for most of it, but it's pretty cool to be living in an age where they are meeting in this beautiful place, right? Where we can have science and these ancient practices coming together. Pretty cool. Cool times. Am I right? So give it a listen. Tell me what you think. Tell me about a time that the placebo effect has helped you. I think we'll leave it there. That was enough, wasn't it? Do you guys feel good about that? Please reach out to me. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you're feeling. Tell me if you want to be on the podcast. I really do have some interviews set up, I promise. They're going to be great. We're going to have great episodes from now on. I'm going to be a great podcaster from now on. A couple of things. If you'd like to support Tarot Electric, you can become a patron on Patreon, and there are a couple of sweet exclusive deals you can get, like tarot scopes and monthly tarot readings. So visit Tarot Electric on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Tarot Electric, and you can check all of that out. And you can go to my website, maryshock.com, and that has all the info about the events that I talked about earlier today, and my contact info if you want to send me an email and just anything, all my stuff is there. And please, if you're on Facebook, join Be More Tarot Club, the group, and you'll have all these conversations. Tell us what's happening. If you have a spread you want to show me, questions, or just have a chat. it's a fun place to be. And then we also created a group for Be More Astrology Club. So please join both of those for like chats and also updates about everything. And even if you're not in Baltimore, you can still join because the whole thing is to be more tarot every day, be more astrology every day. So how can we bring tarot, astrology, these practices, how can we bring them into our life and be them and live them every day? So it's definitely a lot of Baltimore centric stuff, but even if you're not here, you might still like to join anyway. It'd be pretty fun to have you there. Gosh, do you feel good? I feel good. I appreciate you all. Um, I'll see you soon, right? I have good stuff coming up. Oh, it's just hard to say goodbye because I like you all so much, but I'm gonna say goodbye. Many blessings. See you next time.